Good afternoon. Welcome back to United TV. Latest Manchester United news. We'll also be talking about the England match last night. Lots to break down on that game. And also regarding Manchester United, are Man United seriously interested in Kone? Are Chelsea going to be trying to hijack that deal? Those are kind of the stories that are being discussed today. I can talk about either one. I'm going to cover both of them in this stream. And I'll go through some of the comments. Let me know which you'd like to cover to start with. I mean, I can talk about the England match. I would say, actually, I put a screenshot on. As soon as England got knocked out of Argentina, there's going to be an inquiry of what's going to happen. I thought Wayne Rooney was 100% spot on the money here with England played to try and scrape a victory, and they were in a really good position. England take the lead. When Gordon scored, I thought England were going to win this match. And it's really frustrating to see. I don't believe that Argentina have got a better set of football players than England have got. And this for me just seems to be absolutely crazy tactics. We've seen it at Man United, say at the start of the season, crazy substitutions. You go from controlling a game, or you go from it in England's point. England were in a winning position. You've got 15, 20 minutes to go. You go ultra defensively. There's zero outlet. I've got a screenshot ready to show you what a bit zoomed in a bit on that picture, but this is what Wayne Rooney was talking about. So I'll go for a few comments before I talk about this. And so let me go through the comments. Maybe my voice has gone a bit. It could be because there was a lot of shouting from a few people in my house last night. So I believe Kone was a smoke screen for a secret midfielder, says DHEX. Let me try and get the comments on screen. For some reason, I can't get them on screen at the moment. I can. So hopefully, because I think there's going to be a lot of comments from this one. So and that's where we are now. So is it going to be Belieber? I don't know. It could be Belieber, couldn't it? It could be. I think with Man United fans, we're probably going to have to I don't know, see what happens with this one. Say, Danny B, right? This is going to be my breakdown of the England match. Cagey match. The first 45 minutes was largely lots of fouls with a referee that forgot his cards. I think the first 45 minutes was a bit of an embarrassment for a World Cup semi-final, and hopefully this doesn't happen in any match in the future. It was pretty rubbish. The second match, a game of football broke out, and I think we can start looking from like the second half really, where we start seeing a bit more patterns of play. I think what we see is like if you've got Harry Kane in the team, you've got to have runners around him, and we've got Gordon one side, we've got fast players that have been like say Saka or they've been Rodgers, and we saw England got down the right, put in a great cross. Gordon, fantastic actually to get around the defender and finished was quality, and England unlocked the door. They got the goal, winning 1-0. Then the response is, let's go ultra defensive. There's no reason to go ultra defensive. Like, we're not playing against Mexico with 10 men. We've got 11v11. If you're going to give that amount of space, when you look at the graphic on screen, if you can see it, if you're on your phone, you could probably still make it out. England go ultra defensive. And like Danny B says, 25 minutes, you go to a back five against Argentina. It's dumb, it's naive, it's stupid. Also, it's pretty much a massive contradiction to what Tuchel said when he took over the job. When he became England manager, he said there's been a problem with going overly defensive. There's been a problem with teams scared to win. Like, if you're looking at this, and this is what I was saying to my children last night, and what if England win the ball back? Look at the graphic on screen. If England win the ball back, who do you pass to? There's no one there. Unless somebody's going to run the length of the pitch on 75 minutes with the ball from your penalty area, there's literally no outlet there at all. You're taking off all the pace. You've got nothing but centre backs. For me, it was just a shocking embarrassment. I mean, we weren't exactly like, we weren't 3-0 up and coasting. It was 1-0. And I think, can you imagine, are Argentina going to push that many people forward if you got Rodgers or Rashford or Gordon or someone like that on the pitch? Of course you're not going to do that. And there was no incentive for like Argentina to not push that. There was no deterrent, was there? There was no deterrent for us for Argentina not to go 100% attack and go as aggressive as they did. And when Argentina scored, it was hardly a shock. They'd hit the post. They had about four good crosses. England were under massive pressure. And annoyingly, Tuchel made the decision he should have made about 30 minutes earlier when he bought Rashford and um, he bought who did he buy? He brought Tony on. Like you bring that on with like a few minutes to go. Like why wasn't that not the substitution on like 70 minutes? So I think Tuchel is normally I'd apportion blame and say this one. And say normally I would say like people watch my channel. I think I'm generally quite reasonable. And when I was watching the game last night, my reaction was at the end of the game was the English FA need to sack Tuchel immediately because this was the game where Tuchel was brought in for. This is the game where England need to get over the line. This isn't something that England have. No, this isn't a recent problem. This is the something. No, this is the stage where you bring Tuchel in. No one cares about the group stage. The group stage is a formality. Beating Mexico, a good team performance. Beating Norway, again, scrappy. This is the game you bring in an elite manager for. This is the game where you go, right, let's try and beat Argentina or Spain or France. Those are the three best teams in the world. And I think England are in that mix. And it's like, can you get the best out of the squad? And I don't think you can look at the graphic and go, like, is the squad of England's team, is this what we're reduced to? Trying to hang on and just scrape a 1-0. Like, this is not the sort of thing you should be looking to try and do. There is no threat in the England team at the moment. And I think by the time we bought Rashford on and we bought Tony on, it's pretty much done deal. It's game over. Argentina are then playing pretty much a low block, just kicking the ball clear. But it could have been such a different game if we had 25 minutes with Rashford, Tony, Rogers, Gordon, like those players on the pitch. Argentina are not going to be doing what they're able to do. Like Messi has got so much space. There's literally no one marking him. I know there's a lot of people last night giving Messi credit and saying he's such an intelligent football player. He knows where the space is. Look at the graphic. Everyone with fucking eyes knows where the space is. It's ridiculous. So Wizard Bet says Tuchel, conservative manager, throwing the team under the bus, time and again with his tactics. I would sack him today. I agree. And again, Wizard better. I think you're a rational fan as well. And this isn't the sort of thing that we normally kind of throw out there and go, yeah, let's sack the manager. But you have to look at it and say, when it comes to Euros and 2028, it's going to be France and Spain again, isn't it? They're going to be the teams. Spain may well be World Cup winners at that point, and we're going to have to face either a World Cup winning team in Spain or semi-finalists in France and Spain as well. So it's not going to get easier. If anything, winning the Euros and the World Cup is not any more difficult to win the Euros. The teams that, if you look at the World Cup, the teams that are in the quarterfinal stages, they're mainly European teams. So we're going to have all this over and over again in a couple of years' time. So it's not going to get easier for Tuchel. If anything, Spain might have more confidence. France might regroup and look at a different way of playing as well. And Harry Kane's going to be another couple of years older. I think there's probably, is he going to be as effective? I mean, hopefully England are going to be able to put out much the same sort of team and squad, which I think should be good enough. But again, people have different views on this one as well. FA won't sack him. No, they're not going to sack him. Like the FA have said that they're going to back him for 2 more years. So no, unfortunately, it is what it is, isn't it? Mark says Fernandez was unmarked, plays in the Premier League. They knew he was capable of scoring goals from that distance. Do you know what it is though? When you look at putting in that many defenders, there's so many defenders. If anything, it's not helping. There's too many people marking the same space. And if you look at the graphic on screen, that's why I wanted to put. I'll leave this graphic on screen for people to look at. It's if you look at that, everybody's bunched. I don't think when I was looking at this picture, the thing that stands out to me is that England will be like training for different scenarios. They'll be like running drills. They'll be anticipating certain scenarios. I don't think England train for let's go all at the like let's go heavy on defence and effectively you've got too many centre backs on the pitch. You've got too many defensive players. No one knows who's picking each other up. There's no the gaps is it's terrible, isn't it? Look at the gaps between like the full backs and the centre backs in the middle. It's just a disaster. And it's not ideal. It's not something that English should be looking to try and do. There's zero outlet on that field. It's an embarrassment, isn't it? It really is an embarrassment. I say Scaloni foolishly took. I thought he was actually decent. England got some space, scored, then Tuchel brought on. Yeah, when they made those the substitutions, I started getting a bit of flashbacks towards. Do you remember the West Ham game with Man United when Manchester United were winning 1-0? We were passing around midfield, zero pressure from West Ham at all, and we just took off our best players. I think we brought on Dallo and Agate in that match, and it was dreadful. And then we just like went back and back and back, and like defensively, in the end, we're hanging on. I think we might have scraped a draw in that game, or I can't remember if we lost, but it was really poor, really disappointing. It's like watching Amarin's football. That's what it is. That's what it reminded me of. And Wizabet said I won't watching them while he's managing. So, I mean, I don't tend to watch friendlies. So we're probably not going to get too much happening until it happens. Vril said, big up to you, Vril. Also, thanks to people that watched the watch along last night. I don't think I could have hosted a watch along because I'd have been too angry, to put it that bluntly. I've calmed down quite a lot since last night. And this is the sort of thing as well that when you're looking at football, football's about control, about space. England conceded control and conceded space. And look at that. They got everybody in defence. There's still loads of space to put crosses in. I don't know what was going on in this match. And if you're looking at trying to defend, then England defended a lot better. And actually, look at Man United defending against Arsenal in the first 25 minutes. Look at the way Manchester United defended against Manchester City in the game when I think you'd probably say is one of the best performances of the season. Defending in like a 4-4-2, you got pacey runners, you got an outlet. If you win the ball back, like put it this way, Argentina had about three good chances before they scored, and they were getting like a good chance every couple of minutes. If England could actually have an outlet on the ball, if they had some way of actually moving up the pitch, then suddenly, Argentina, maybe they only get two or three opportunities for the rest of the match and England see the game out 1-0. But I mean, you can still try and see the game out 1-0, but have the attacking players on the pitch. But also that there was zero chance of England getting a second. I thought just after we scored and we looked quite dangerous, I was thinking, get a second goal, it could be game over. And I don't know why. If you wanted to make substitutions, the thing that's annoyed me as well is Tuchel had the options on the bench. It's not like we ran out of players. It's not like we had injury issues. We had the options on the bench, and he's been doing like Saka, Rashford, Gordon, Madueke, Rodgers. All these players have been like being swapped like for like during the tournament to maintain the pressure. And I was thinking, you have Gordon run himself into the ground for 70 minutes. You put Rashford on, he can do the same. Where you put Saka on, and Saka's quite good defensively as well. So I think that it's really strange what happened, and it's really disappointing regarding this one. Sky, welcome to the chat. You're saying fuming with Tuchel, get rid of him now. Um, so Argentina save football. If you think that's saving football, then I don't think that's. I think okay. Did Argentina win it or did England throw it away? So I think the thing that's annoying is it feels like England threw it away. And I would say we'll see what happens in the final, but I think we're going to be looking at from a situation as well as how does Mainu not get on the pitch? If you're looking at like, okay, you can have some runners on the pitch, but if you want to have some sort of modicum of control, how does Mainu not get on the pitch for 1 minute with Tuchel? And Declan Rice not fit. I just can't see. I can't see any sort of justification why. Like, why even take Mainu if you've got no intention of using Mainu? That if you would rather play a 50% fit Declan Rice that can't really run, isn't playing that well instead of Mainu, why do you even bother selecting him? That it doesn't make a lot of sense, does it? So let me go for a few comments, and so it's not just me getting annoyed. So the game was crying out for Mainu, 100%, 100%. You can put Mainu on and control it a bit as well. I mean, I think it might have been a different game if the referee had remembered to bring his cards in the first half, but that's a different thing as well. we will be covering Manchester United news as well. So Chelsea, yeah, no, I think with this one, I don't know if there's going to be potentially, yeah, against Fulham it did happen as well. Yeah, it could be that potentially with Manchester United, maybe there's a midfielder we're not even, they're not even going to be in the team. So, do you know what I was thinking? If I was Kobe Mainu, I mean, I have to watch my language because if when the swearing door opens, it won't close. Um, if I was Mainu, I'd just get on a plane now and go, "What's this bullshit?" Like I've watched a lot of World Cups. I don't think I've ever watched a third place match. It's like you're out of the tournament. I don't give a shit who can finish as third, to put it bluntly. Yeah, you're third. The World Cup's over for England. Like you have to play France. Who cares about that at all? Big up to you, Bilal. I just apologise for my voice going a bit. It was one of those games where there was a lot of shouting at the television last night. And to be honest, I then messaged a few people. And honestly, I thought it might be better this morning, but it's not. I was thinking about what to do as a stream, and I was thinking I can't do an England stream because I'll just be too angry. And that's not kind of what I want to put out on YouTube, being recorded just raging. It's not really what I'm here for. But I'll go through the comments because that might be, hopefully, you guys are a bit more rational than I've been. But I just can't see how, I can't see how England have, if Argentina created a moment of genius, I'd go fair play. And there's been games where, do you remember when like France beat England in the Euros? You go, okay, fair play. They got good. It's a bit maybe we should have done this, but it felt like we went right. We're winning 1-0. Here you go, Argentina. You have the ball. We're just going to like go in our 6 yard box now, and we're going to go hang out around the penalty area. Messi, you can have that side of the pitch. We won't bother tackling you. Just spam crosses in, take some shots, and we'll see if we can hang on. Um, Bilal says, Kobe, don't think you need to deal with another stupid manager after Rubin. Do you know what the thing is? Until they played Argentina, I think most of the games you'd be expecting go right. England should win them. Like they're heavily favoured, but they were all very close games, weren't they? The Mexico one, the Norway one, the Congo one. They're all really close games, and I think this was again going to be a close game. And I think, no, I'm not going to say that we would definitely won if we'd have made different substitutions, but I think as soon as they made the substitutions, that it was almost like no chance we were going to hang on to a 1-0. Argentina must have created about five, six clear cut opportunities, and that the amount of space Messi had was bordering on outrageous. And even when Messi put in the cross for the winner, there's two people that who's tackling him, who's like defending the space. Like there's literally too many defenders there. And I can't remember who it was last night. It might have been Wayne Rooney. It might have been Mika Richards because he is a defender. And they were saying there's almost like there's too many defenders, like they're in each other's way. Like it doesn't mean you can defend more effectively as a team. Like defending effectively as a team doesn't mean you have to have more defenders on the pitch than attacking players. You can defend more effectively. You can protect the lead more effectively by having some sort of credible outlet and having some like more attacking players on the pitch. And yeah, no, I think to be honest, I thought Tuchel would use Kobe Manu in a group game. I thought he would feature more in the tournament. I thought of the teams left. That I don't want this to sound bitter, but I thought of the teams left. Then I thought Argentina were the weakest team in terms of like the players, and I can see that they. I do think Argentina would have caused France massive problems if those two were in the final because you could see what Paraguay were doing and all the fouling and the kind of like disruption, like tactics. I mean, Argentina have got some good players. I'm not going to say they haven't got good players. I just think England had better players overall, but it is close. And the problem now is going to be, I think with Spain, I think Spain are the one team that I don't think Argentina can kick Spain off the pitch because Spain can control games. They've got more passing as well. So, yeah, no, I didn't realise that, Ryan. Wow, that's pretty bad, isn't it? That is really bad. So, yeah, thoughts to him and his family. One thing I did see, then football aside, I think the banners that they're holding up after the football match, the political stuff, really stupid. I think from I don't know what FIFA are going to do because it breaks the rules. It is pretty poor, and I don't know. I think for Lisandro Martinez, maybe maybe there's going to be some issues. Who do I appoint? I don't know. Get maybe Pep Guardiola's looking for a job, isn't he? Get him in. Someone that's got a proven track record of winning things. I think someone that's got to be brave. Like England have got to be braver and go for these as well. I'll say O'Reilly should have fouled Messi. I think it's difficult. Like Messi is a very good player, and you've got to when you give him that much space. The problem is Messi was picking up the ball in very attacking areas, so you're going to have to foul him. Then effectively, we're going to be dealing with lots of set pieces. But no, I think yeah. Look at the graphic. England should be further up the pitch, and we should be not camped on our penalty area. Otherwise, it's going to make it borderline impossible, isn't it, to try and do this? And what I'll do is I'll put a picture up just of something different, just to because it's just annoying me. So we will talk about Man United as well, and but I'll go for your comments regarding the football last night. I say Cons crossing the ball into Dan Burn was a final straw, utter dross, says Jules. I think it's like I would say in this tournament, I think the Mexico game might have been one of the best games I've watched England that I can remember. Like certainly this century, like it's one of the best matches in terms of drama, excitement, performances, and the Argentina game. I think it's got to be the most disappointing defeat we've seen for I don't know so long, like so long. Welcome, Cake. He says the FA lack the balls. Say, unfortunately, this guy's here for another 2 years. Might as well write off Euro 28 now. The problem is, isn't it? Is the problem with Euro 28 is it's effectively the same teams, isn't it? That you got. If you think it's going to be difficult to beat Argentina, Spain and France are going to be even more difficult as well. Um, so Martinez heavily involved with the banner and taunting of England. He can leave. I suppose for this one, this might be dependent on that Man United is a worldwide fan base, and the difference is going to be, I suppose, is when you're playing for Manchester United in the stadium, you're going to have like 75,000 English people watching. I don't know whether they're going to be. We'll have to see what happens, but certainly Martinez is going to get booed everywhere else he goes, I'd imagine. I don't know what Man United fans would think. I think they're going to be a bit divided anyway. But I would probably. I said this. I said this 2 years ago. Actually, on Red Devil United. I said I would sell Martinez because I think he's a bit erratic, crap against Egypt, a bit mediocre in the World Cup. I'm trying to think. Did he do much against England? I can't remember too much. But I think at the moment, I don't think he's good enough. I know people love him on the ball. I don't think he's good enough defensively. Like messed up against Arsenal, cost us a goal. I think erratic fouls and his injury record is quite poor. So I would have replaced Martinez. I think Martinez was maybe like a good player, but I don't think he's ever got to a level where people think he's like a world class player. He's nowhere near a Yapstam, Rio Ferdinand, Vidic. He's nowhere near Steve Bruce or Pallister for me. So I think he's like being the best of like a mediocre bunch a lot of the time. I would sell it if we got a credible offer in. I would sell him, and this isn't because of the World Cup. This is I've said this like a year ago, 2 years ago. So we'll have to see. Bilal says let him go to Chelsea, injury prone. So yeah, if people don't like Marcus Rashford because of training or perceived attitude issues, then I'll be interested to see how the Martinez story plays out. Again, it might depend on where you reside. Um, say, this is exactly why I agree with Kate saying Tuchel's shown his cards. He's not a front foot manager, negative and defensive. And do you know what the thing is? It's easy to be on the front foot. It's easy to like go aggressive against very small teams and just get stuck in and crush those teams because you got the resources of England. But when you got it, when you're up against it and the pressure's on, do you see the interview from Harry Kane at the end of the match? I think the England players were like, "What the hell were we supposed to do? Like, you took off our outlets. We're trying to defend. What could we have done?" Yeah, big season for Aiden Heaven. I think give him more and more games. If I'm Michael Carrick, and obviously Michael Carrick's an English manager. If I'm Michael Carrick, I'm finding ways of getting more minutes into Lissandro Martinez and Yoro because I think those players need to be up to speed as soon as possible. If you think about it, Maguire, bit injury prone himself, but I think he is a reliable defender if he's fit. Martinez, again, issues, and we won't be having Delit back for a little while. I haven't seen actually any updates on Delit, so we'll have to see what happens regarding that one. But no, I think so. There were rumours about. I saw this as well. I think I saw something on. Apparently, Man United put something out about a month ago saying that they weren't considering offers. I think they should definitely consider offers, and I'd be interested to see what. I mean, Jim Radcliffe would have seen the news. I think Manchester United hierarchy would have seen all the stuff as well. It'll be interesting to see if anything happens because yeah, it's yeah a bit of a maybe we should move on to transfers. We're a bit less angry. I'm saying hopefully. Um, Take 12% possession. Yeah, the possession is effectively one pass and then someone booting out of defence, isn't it? So Scott says 12% possession. No team is winning a game with stats like that. I mean, I've seen teams where you get 30% possession, but you got a third of the ball. You are doing something. But 12% possession, and that was between England scoring, wasn't it? And England conceding 12%. And say Tuchel was going to bring on Rashford, change his mind after the goal, so he threw out all planning on a whim. It's just so disappointing, isn't it? All through the season, so through this tournament, we've seen the same tactics, haven't we, regarding this one? Mm. The thing is though, Cake, if you look at the dates in history, I don't want to go political too much. I don't want to invite. Um, if you look at this situation, look when the British first went to the Falkland Islands. I think it's something like 17 something, and Spain, look at when Argentina became independent from Spain. I think it's like 1820, so 1825. So the time that Argentina wasn't a country when the UK was first in the Falklands, so it's a bit silly. Um, yeah, there was no one in the Falkland Islands when they went there originally, so it's silly. Um, So you saw the interview Bellingham after the Norway match. I think that was the Tuchel warning sign. Players think Tuchel's a knob. Do you know what Harry Kane said? Harry Kane was quoted. I think they were doing this after the match, and what he was saying, Harry Kane said, when it comes to this level of competition, and it comes down to the final four in a World Cup, and he said it looked like okay, we had 1-0. We tried to get a second goal, then we decided to stick with what we got, try and defend. And Harry Kane said, at this level of football, that's not enough. Like, it's not enough to go. Oh, we got 1-0. We got 1-0. Great. Let's stick with 1-0 and see how that goes. Let's try like giving Argentina the ball for you know. And don't forget with the hydration break and extra time and all the substitutions, it was about 10 minutes added on to the end. So if you're going to make these defensive substitutions on 70 minutes, it's going to be a half an hour. So you're going to try and defend for 30 minutes, like a third of the game. You're going to try and defend and have all the men behind the ball against Argentina. I mean, Argentina are not like a third division club, are they? Argentina have got some quality. And no, I get the feeling as well. There was a few things said that I think in terms of this one that it felt like the handbrake was on a little bit as well. I think with this one, right, again, Brill, without getting political, I think most of the people that reside in the Falkland Islands, the highest percentage are from the UK, and it's just always been British, isn't it? So it's like saying, why do uh, if you got certain territories in the world, like it was uninhabited, and the people that live there, most of them are British, and they've had a referendum, etc. as well. So I don't know. Always been British, isn't it? So I don't see how it's a talking point. It's, unless the Falkland Islands wants to be independent, but it doesn't want to be independent. That's the thing. That the people that live there had a say on it, and they want to be part of the UK mainly for security. I guess it would be. Nikki says, "I doubt Coney goes to Chelsea. Might not get much playing time." So back to this: is there going to be potentially, like, is there going to be potentially some? I'll just say, if anyone's got any questions about um, politics in the Falklands, just Google it because the information is there. Just look at the dates of things that happened. So I don't, yeah, I don't think he does either, to be honest. Yeah, no. Apparently, 40% of the people that live there are actually from the UK anyway, that are on temporary visas. So that's the that's the thing. Um, I think most of the people that watch the YouTube channel at the moment are probably British. So I don't think there's anyone from Argentina, but you're probably too busy celebrating the win. What do people think regarding this third midfielder then? Is there going to be some sort of secret midfielder that's been? I think the United stand around a story saying secret midfielder. You know, when they have the player image, it's just a silhouette. And I was just thinking, "Ah, I can't be bothered to do those sort of secret midfielder stories." What do you think is going to happen regarding this? Like Kone, it feels a bit like a 50-50 one. He was okay in the World Cup. Like I think as soon as they came up against France, the whole team did look quite against Spain. They looked quite poor. Potentially, the price is going to still be about 50 million. There's probably better options out there in terms of like a third player. Is there any names that makes you think we should probably jump on that and go for that? Danny B is saying you hope you're saying you hope it's Sangari. It could be this one. Do you think it's going to be someone like Belieber? Like, is this going to be? If I said right, just guess who the third midfielder is going to be, because I think that's probably where we are at the moment as well. And so yeah, exactly. There's lots of reasons. I try to avoid politics, but it's kind of difficult when they wave like a big flag and everyone starts talking about it as well. But Sangari Belieber do seem to be. Let's say secret midfielder is stupid and childish. Yeah, exactly. We're all grown adults, Nikki. That's what I was going to say. Like, there's no secret midfielder talk because you could say this, couldn't you? You could say that Tielemans may as well have been a secret midfielder because no one knew it was going to happen. And maybe the more sensible way to say it is there's going to be a third midfielder signing. I'm pretty sure no one watching, and myself included, and any other journalist, and most of the people working on the big YouTube channels either. I don't think anybody knows who it is. So it becomes like a guesswork, doesn't it? And people might be pretending they got secret information. I don't think they have. Otherwise, we'll be seeing very accurate streams from a lot of people. And at the moment, we're not really seeing that at all. So in terms of this, like, is Belieber too expensive? With this one, it could be that the price of Belieber it's rumored to be quite expensive. And are Man United actually getting close with Kone the same way we got quite close with Edison? Is this going to be something that maybe makes Brighton lower their price? Like, and again, too expensive is difficult to put a number on. So if you say it's too expensive, how much is too expensive is probably the question. Like, Belieber's not at the best season, then do you think it's going to be? Also, for Manchester United, is there an incentive to actually do a deal like sooner rather than later? Let me go through a few comments. Big up to you, Solly, as well. But and is there going to be a situation where if you're looking at this one, like say Belieber, Sangari, etc., you've got these players, and you've got maybe these players that I don't see other clubs being, certainly interested in this one. Like Randy's saying, we're waiting for Brighton to reduce the price. Is this a sort of case where Brighton are going to want to sell at some point, and Manchester United at the moment, well, maybe like no, maybe as fans we're kind of quite desperate for them to get players signed. Do Man United feel like, look, Kone's there to a deal we could do, We have seen now Joe Gomez go to Aston Villa. I think that might be here we go. That looks like it's a done deal. So some of the options that are moving around, I think all this does go to show is that Man United were never really interested in Gomez. They were never really interested in Hayden Hackney. But what we might be seeing is maybe we're not going to find out exactly who Man United want until they make an offer. So all this kind of speculation about there's a secret option, Man United are working on this one. It does seem to be that maybe they got an option in mind. Like they had Santos in mind, and like maybe they did have Tielemans in mind. We don't know as well. And maybe what we're going to see is it could be the same as we saw with Tielemans. It could be no news at all. Then suddenly, Man United advanced talks. Here we go rapidly. So I think it might well be the very same sort of thing. Cody said 20 likes on the video. Please don't forget to click like if you just tuned in. It really does help as well. No, I'm not going to be saying that, Bilal. I've seen the graphic though on other channels. I think there's going to be a lot of players. I think when we talk about players ourselves and we talk about say Bawadi, Sangare, etc., etc. I think Man United will be well aware of those players. They will be looking at what's the best option for this one as well. And I think in terms of like what we got, if you're looking at the squad, like what have Man United got now? What don't we have? And DHEC says athletic, physical, ground coverage, Champions League experience. This is kind of the sort of thing that we're looking at. And so apparently not Cody, not Camavinga. So I don't think we'll be getting a Real Madrid player. Kone, I'm not sure either. I think because Kone's been playing for Roma, I don't know. There's certain players where you think, okay, he's doing okay in international level. I don't think he'd be a top Man United target at the moment. It's very difficult to say if they're going to be listening to Christopher Ravel. I believe they listened to him when they were looking at getting a goalkeeper in. But as Al says, I want Ravel and Wilcox to prove they know what they're talking about and say, you think they were both trash? I think a lot of people, I think general opinion that I see in the chat is a lot of people think Wilcox is useless. I mean, Wilcox is the person that has the final say of like how, of the transfers overall, and Vavel will have like a big role as well. But Wilcox is believed to have the final say. But what they're looking to try and do is they're supposed to be looking at trying to come to some sort of consensus. So with the data team, the scouts, etc., etc., and Vavel Wilcox, it's supposed to be a group decision overall, but Wilcox is supposed to have a little bit more say as well. So no, we can judge them on the transfer window, sure. And Randy says all the data points to Belieber, and we're taking the data analysis very seriously. Now, one thing I saw as well that I do think Belieber does still quite divide opinion as well. So Ryan still likes Sanderberg even more if we're not going to spend that much, and yeah, I'm probably not so keen on Sanderberg as Ryan is, but yeah, we have different opinions, and that's absolutely fine. I just think Sanderberg might have been a good player to buy 4 or 5 years ago, but I think at the moment, I think Man United need to aim a bit higher. That would be my say. I think aim a bit higher than Sanderberg. Sanderberg's a competent midfielder of good quality, but I think United need to try and aim a bit higher than Sanderberg. Yeah, exactly. So let me go through a few comments. Welcome, John O'Connell, to the chat as well. And let me find your comment. You're saying Chelsea cannot beat us to this one. So Chelsea have got no Champions League football. Why would Kone go there? So I'm just going to have to say, when I was talking about Matheus Fernandes and I was talking about Spurs, then I can't say too much now because I said Matheus Fernandes, why would he go to Spurs? And it's financial reasons. At the moment, with Chelsea, we've got Santos. There might be a lot of talk now of still Enzo Fernandez moving from Chelsea, which case Chelsea will need to get players in. So if Kone, uh, to say Kone won't get a game, it depends. If Chelsea start selling more players, then they will need to replace some of these players. Like they still have to. I know they've got a big squad, but they still need to get some quality in. Ajabisa saying, can let Chelsea beat us for Kone? With this one, my view is a bit different with this one. I think with Matheus Fernandes, it was very much price orientated, wasn't it? It was Man United at the table with West Ham, supposedly. Apparently, we offered quite a similar offer to Spurs, but Spurs offering better terms for the player and a bit more money. I think the money was up front rather than in add-ons. And so Man United got priced out. I don't think Kone is going to be the sort of deal that is going to be expensive. There was some rumour that he would be potentially 80 million. I think Fabrizio said something like, no, Roma are not going to be looking for huge money. It's going to be not the most expensive, so maybe like 45 to 50 million pounds. So the price is not expensive, and the salary demands, I'm sure, at Roma is going to be a big pay rise if it goes to Chelsea or Manchester United. So financially, this shouldn't be a problem. The question with this one, like Ajay Beast, is if Chelsea sign him, then I feel that's an indication that Man United are not that interested. So, like I would say, I would not be too concerned if Chelsea signed him because I think that's an indication that Man United don't want him. That's what I'm thinking regarding this one. Almac says you lost all confidence in this regime because of Tielemans, so you don't trust them. No, yeah. If you don't like Tielemans, then I suppose then yeah, that's your opinion. Then maybe it's difficult to say like Tielemans or Santos or whoever's a third one. It's difficult to say who's like whether these are good signings yet. You probably have to see them play together and see. I do agree though with Tielemans was not going to be the most exciting one, was he? In terms of like, but it could be the sort of sign that maybe Man United look at for a bit of experience regarding that one. Yeah, Gomez is here we go, isn't it? And Malp says, I just want the season to start now. This window was always going to be shite and say, pray for Carrick people. If it makes Christmas, it'll be a miracle. I think that Michael Carrick will, I don't think he needs a miracle because he's still going to have the players that he relied on last season. Lammens going to be more experienced. Dorgu, Aiden, Heaven, they're going to be more experienced and maybe play more minutes. You've got decent players in the academy coming through. Effectively, what we need to do from last season is try and get a bit more cover, which I think we have got more cover. I think if we just question the quality, I can see Man United not challenging like for the title at all. But I can't see Man United dropping below Chelsea or dropping below Chelsea, Newcastle, and I can't see Spurs closing the gap in one transfer window. They were quite poor for the whole season, so I think Michael Carrick's gonna struggle to improve on last season. But I don't think he's going to be suddenly dropping down the league. So he says Tielemans is growing on you, unique, high quality player like Ericsson was. Availability on the market, so why not? And say, yeah, intelligence player. Maybe with this one, maybe he's going to have. We don't know exactly how much how much of a role he's going to have either, do we? So it's quite difficult to see. I'm kind of expecting, considering now this might be the first time where hopefully Michael Carrick does well, and hopefully that will mean then that we get to play because I think some of these players like Yoris come in. He's played for like multiple different managers now, and he's had a problem where you have an interim manager, then another manager, and so for players like younger players coming through, they've had like a bit of a like for Sesko as well, a bit of a tricky season. But with Sesko, Yoro, Cunha, and Buemo, these players now they've got a bit more experience of playing for Manchester United. So I think the front's going to be effectively the same, isn't it? Like the understanding built up between Bruno and Buemo, Sesko, Cunha, Dorgo, etc. That's still going to be there, isn't it? So we won't have those issues. I think now the issue is going to be can we construct the midfield? Can it protect the defence? Can it link with the attack as well? So I think with this one, I can see why it might be sensible to get some experience in, but it's tricky. Your aim for next season is seventh. How is that an aim? Like that's seventh is like dropping down loads. Like name six teams that are going to finish above Man United. Apart from like Liverpool, say Arsenal, Man City, who have got big squads, good quality squads. Like Aston Villa, are Aston Villa going to finish above Manchester United? Are we going to be seeing Like, who else is there that's going to be finishing? Like Newcastle and Chelsea, surely not. And what we're seeing in recently, I think seventh is like pretty low. I think United will be Champions League. I just don't know. I just don't know if we're going to be able to kick on really. Cody says squad is in a better place. Like no Sancho. Say Casemiro's gone. Like put it this way: Malacia, Hoyland, Anana and Sancho. None of those players were in the squad anyway. So I think that these players have already effectively already left, haven't they? No, Kate, last year, Kate, you predicted about 12th, and no, was it 10th? No, maybe we can look. Is it Saturday that England are playing? Is the third place match and the match against Wrexham the same day? If so, we might have to look at the Wrexham game and maybe look at. I don't know if we can do a watch long for that. We might be if I know someone. I think you have to have a MUTV to watch it, which I don't have. Rose says Cody Sesko needs to be in the Golden Boot conversation. Maybe I think last season Sesko did look like he was kind of getting it together, didn't he? The last few months of the season, I think from like January, February onwards, he was a much improved player. So now maybe this is going to be something to look forward to now. That, yeah, I'm looking forward to it as well. So United play 4 p.m. England 10 p.m. on a Saturday. Yeah, do people watch the third place game, or is it too much of an anticlimax after watching that? 'Cause in the past, I tend to have not really watched third place matches. So you think that we're going to see? You think Spurs and Chelsea are going to finish above Manchester United? Okay, I just disagree, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. I can't see how Chelsea finish above Man United, and I can't see how Spurs do, but we'll see. Things can change. No, Randy says, "I want us to win the league." I know I sound crazy, but I want to win the league. No, I remember when. No, I remember when we were looking at the transfer window and saying that can Man United close the gap? At the moment, I don't think Man United are aiming to close the gap. I think Man United are aiming to just stick where they are and maybe not go, maybe just try and get the squad depth. I'm thinking regarding this one as well. Yeah, third place is a cracking tie. The problem is that it's because the third place match is now just a friendly, isn't it? That once you've if you're looking to try and get to the final, it's a competitive match. The World Cup final is obviously going to be everything to play for. The third place match, there's nothing at stake, is there? No one cares if you finish third. Like it's literally absolutely nothing at all. I've never really supported Spain, but I will be changing my mind. So yeah, I don't know. And maybe all I can think of is if France completely destroy England, can we get a Tuchel sacking? That's the only thing that would be good in the third place match. Mbappe to score like 4 goals, 5-0 win for France, and Tuchel gets sacked on the spot. That's the only positives I could give you for that one because I don't think Tuchel's going to change his mind. I'm surprised the FA coming out and backing him like they have been because I'd be really looking at that. I don't think the English team are going to have much fight in them. Like what have they got to play for now? Like it's largely irrelevant to the fans. It's a shame, but I think that's what it is. No, we need to show more ambition in the transfer market, don't we? A lot more ambition. Maybe. Um, no, look at this then. Any Man United question? We'll go back to Manchester United as well. Omek says winning the league is unrealistic. So we're not contended in 13 years. Too impatient for the much needed rebuild. Well, this is supposed to be the rebuild, isn't it? As far as we've been led to believe. I think the problem is a lot of fans were told that this was going to be uh, the credible journalist was saying this is going to be the busiest window for years for Man United, and I think Ornstein said Manchester United are going to be the busiest club. The problem is there any midfielder we can bring in now? Is it going to be? Are we basically looking for? No, let's see what happens when we get Belieber. Is Belieber going to be the most likely one to? Um, Adobe says Martinez leaves, we give Maguire 1 year deal. This club is a joke if we allow this to happen. Well, Martinez, Maguire's already got a 1 year deal, isn't he? That if Man United are serious, then you shouldn't need to give extensions to people like Maguire and Luke Shaw. You should be getting players to replace them. That's what you should be looking at doing. Corinne says, "Let the fool pick Chelsea." No, I don't mind if no, I don't mind if Manchester United let Kone go, and I don't think he's going to be. I don't think it's going to be like a massive. I don't see Manchester United and Chelsea getting into like a bidding war to sign Kone. He's good, but I don't. I think he's still very untested. Whether he's going to be a good player for the Premier League, I don't think Man United are going to be sat here going, let's make sure we get Kone in. Biotsu Luca says Tuchel's not the answer. People hype him up anyway. Do people hype up do people hype up Tuchel? I don't think they do. The thing like last night though, to go back to Man United and go to cover Tuchel quickly, when we're talking about this match and we're talking about Tuchel, a lot of Man United fans wanted Tuchel. The club looked at Tuchel, and I think maybe we're looking at this like I don't. Tuchel's not a Man United manager. Like the Parker bust mentality, the let's try and hold on to a 1-0. No, that is not a Man United manager. That is not something you want to see at Old Trafford. The sort of mentality to try and like we got a goal, let's try and hang on 1-0. No, that for me is not what I want to see. No, I want to see a Manchester United manager that goes, right, we've got one goal, let's try and get the second goal. If you get the second goal, right, let's try and get the third goal because if anything, football favours the brave. And if you look at the World Cup, it's the teams that go aggressive and try and win the game that have got the results. And yeah, we saw that teams that sit back and defend, they're going to get broken down eventually, and it's not the best strategy. And yeah, when England go defensive, it's a nightmare. It's the same in club football. I mean, Luca talks Arsenal will know what I'm talking about when I say, do you remember when Arsenal were winning 1-0 against Man City? They got a player sent off. They just went ultra defensive. There was zero outlet on that pitch. And in the end, okay, it took like a very late goal, but you're going to concede eventually. So you dropped into West Ham podcast last night, asked your opinion about Matheus Fernandes. They said he's a solid player with potential, but 80 million is a risk. It's even more than that, isn't it? Even more than that. Yeah, no, Mourinho is a parks the bus, but I don't think Mourinho is going to make like that sort of level of defensive substitution in a match that we saw last night. And so the Brave make for better entertainment too. It's our club in a nutshell. Have you seen the interview with Gary Neville and Alex Ferguson? And Alex Ferguson was talking about it, saying, you've got to go attacking. There's going to be some risk involved, but you've got to be prepared to take that risk because the reward makes it justified. If you're going to take some risk, and there's going to be risk in most games, but more often than not, it's going to work out. Like being scared, playing frightened football, in itself, I think that carries more risk because you're more likely to concede the game. You're more likely to throw things away. Also, the problem was as soon as Argentina got the first goal, England had nothing. There was no response, and they couldn't do much. And it's, I need to stop going on on about it. 'Cause it's just really annoying. Just a few likes away from 30 live likes, guys. If you're able to click that, that would be massively appreciated. So I'm right now tonight better than Tuchel and Southgate. It's difficult to say, isn't it? I don't know how we can compare club managers to international managers, but I don't know. Southgate got to a couple of finals. Tuchel needs to do that. I think Tuchel needs to win the Euros to do better than Southgate. And at the moment, it's going to be pretty difficult, isn't it? So if Manchester United are serious about a rebuild, says DHEX, then it looks like a staged rebuild. Santos is potential. Tielemans helps to maintain the current squad position and maybe by a youngster. Does Belieber fit into that gap? I don't know. I don't know. DHEX says Keys, Smith. There's, to be honest, I wouldn't be surprised if one of those players is on Man United's radar, but because we bought Tielemans and we bought Santos, I still get the feeling that it's going to be Premier League orientated, and I do get the feeling that I do think Alex Scott might still be in the mix somehow. I think Belieber might be in the mix as well. I don't think Wharton necessarily, but don't be surprised if we do go for another Premier League target, and don't be surprised if it's going to be something that happens towards the end. BHU Neil says this all England manager faults, and so Bruno Fernandes is one of the few signings we got. I don't know, Cody. I think Lamans was a good signing. Aiden Heaven was a good signing. I think Dog is a good signing. Cunha is a good signing. I think most of those signings are good. The issue I've got is we're just not making more of them. Like now, maybe in a year's time we talk about Santos as being another good signing. I think he could be up there as well. I spoke to an Inter Milan fan a few days ago at a barbecue, and he was he goes to this when he lived in Italy. He now lives near where I live. When he was living in Italy, he used to go to the San Siro. He's an Inter Milan fan. He loved that team, and I think that was the team that had did the treble. I remember it had. I'm trying to think who it was in. They had Patrick Vieira in that team, didn't they? No, but that was a different. That's a different era. I think with Barcelona, you've got to find a way to beat them, haven't you? But when we're talking about Argentina last night, they're not prime Barcelona, are they? They're a good team, but you've got to be looking to try and be aggressive and try and win it. Yeah, Bruno Fernandes was 7 years ago. But we can't wait. We can't sign a good midfield player every 10 years. We have to be a bit more productive than that. Andy says there was no difference yesterday to the football Southgate played. As soon as we scored, we went defensive, just let them attack, cut off our say attacking players off, and just stuck in our own first half. Shall I bring back the graphic? uh, Wayne Rooney had a lot to say about it, and the blame resides with Tuchel for most people. This was the team shape we had when we're trying to struggle to hang on. That it's one thing like saying that we just sat back and are stuck in our own half. We're pretty much in our own penalty area, aren't we? It's not that we're just in our own half. It's like we're literally just in the on the goal line nearly. It's really poor. Really poor. And I started a little bit earlier today, so I won't be streaming for way longer. But if people that just tuned in, if you've got some comments and questions, please get them in. If you're new to the channel, as always, please subscribe. There's going to be a stream tonight. I think it's going to be 8 p.m. Myself, Winners the Better, Kieran will be on as well. I might be trying to get a fourth guest as well, so we got a full panel. If anyone's got suggestions of what to cover, I'm not sure what we're going to be looking at. It might depend on news. And again, I'm not going to be doing like a secret midfielder type stream, but we'll try and cover something topical, hopefully regarding that one. But if you've got some suggestions, if there's any news you see, please send me something because I don't want to just do like something repetitive because we've got some good guests on. Do you want a box to box midfielder or defensive anchor to protect the back line, says Al. At the moment, I don't know. I don't really know what Manchester United definitely want. I think with this one, big up to Rob United. Good to see you, Rob. Hope you're doing well today. Now, what I was going to say is, if you look at the substitutions, Argentina went fully attacking towards the end of the match, didn't they? But Manchester United, sorry, not Man United. England had already brought on like defensive players as well. So if England kept on, if England kept on attacking players, Argentina wouldn't have been able to do that. Argentina could take off the centre backs because look at the graphic. They didn't need all the centre backs. They didn't need their defensive line because England had got a zero there. If they get the ball, no way Harry Kane moves more than 10 metres without being tackled. Jude Bellingham looked knackered. You needed to bring on like for like replacements for some of these players. Declan Rice wasn't fit. Why don't you bring on Rashford, Mainu, and I'm trying to think who else is on the bench, like Madueke? Bring on Saka. Like, bring on those players. Bring on Tony. Like, bring on those attacking players. And then play the same way. Like, take Harry Kane off, bring on Tony because he was knackered. Take off a midfielder, bring on Mainu, can give you more control, but also keep possession, something we needed to do. And have like some runners on the pitch. If Gordon's knackered, bring on Rashford. If you want to take off Rodgers, bring on Saka. Like the options were there, weren't they? It's not like it's difficult. I think the FA have been very, very generous as well. Tuchel was man of the match. Big up to you, Craig. Yeah, I'm not sure where you're from, Craig, but I can't remember if you know, I won't guess which country you're from because I forget. But I don't know if you're happy or disappointed about it. So United need to come back soon, or I'm going to start burning things. Ryan, like you're one of the most rational people I know. I don't think you need to like get to that level yet. Just to let you know, Ryan, the transfer window's not finished. It's I mean for Man United, it's barely started, but it's not over yet, and we've not even had pre-season, not even played Wrexham yet. That's something to look forward to on the weekend as well. Um, did you get a notification? Do you honestly get a notification for a stream I'd not scheduled? I mean, fair play to YouTube for trying to pretend I'm streaming more than I am, but no, there was definitely nothing scheduled this morning. Last night was tipped you. Yeah, no, this is why as soon as I started the stream to this morning or today, I felt my voice had gone a bit, and I was thinking, I did shout a lot yesterday, and I thought I would be okay. Okay, I was going to guess something like that. I knew you'd moved to the States. I couldn't remember where from. So, yeah, how did you feel about that then? It was pretty good performance from Tuchel. I mean, if Tuchel was an Argentinian manager, I think he's getting sacked on the spot. But no, if he had done that against Germany, I don't know what people would be thinking as well. Yeah, exactly. Everybody hits the wall at different points, don't they? Yeah, I think he's got braids now. I mean, I don't watch it, but yeah, YouTube does like you see like thumbnails, but no. I would say D Hex, you might be yeah, you might be what's the word? No, I think that people with rational thought will not be listening to things he's saying, put it that way. And if you look at his core demographic, I don't think they're going to be UK based, so I doubt it. Um, right, let me go for some comments as well. So you coach youth soccer and you could have managed that better. I think most people were watching it, and when I was looking at the game last night, and I was watching it with my children, and we were going, look, we got nothing but defence. Look at the space Messi got. When the commentators were saying Messi's intelligent and he can find the space, I think Stevie Wonder could see the space. I mean, if you want to know where the space is pretty much. Let me just show you. So it doesn't take intelligence to find that every England player is like in one little area of the pitch. So if Messi managed to find the space, I mean, it's not rocket science, is it? The space is there. I can't see a single Argentinian player that's in a good passing position that's got remote pressure on him from an England player. So No, this is just naive football. And no, I said at the start of the stream, I'd have sacked Tuchel on the spot. But yeah, it's so you block Frankenstein. I don't even know. I can't even remember his name. I don't even know what platforms he's on. I just saw a thumbnail, so I've not. Yeah, I won't say too much on this one. So he says Messi lets everyone do the work so he can score easy goals. So let's be real. He was never going to get. He was never going to run through England's midfield, was he? And then we probably should have played a bit. Right, we let him have too much time and space, and it doesn't matter what age he is. You can't let Messi have time and space. It's just absolutely criminal. A nice one. Quite. Is it quite early on in the day for you then? No, it's been a bit of a weird stream today because I thought I was going to talk about transfers, but I think people are just too annoyed by last night's football to discuss transfers. Um, but I'll stay live for like another 5-10 minutes. If people got some questions as well, then get them in. And I'm going to try and do something tonight because I've got some good guests. I need to try and find a topic to discuss. I hope there's some breaking news. No, Messi walks a lot, but then it's the same as Cunha. He walks a lot, but then as soon as something happens, he springs into action. If you look at it, he was just waiting there for the ball to come to him. As soon as it comes to him, he runs, puts a cross in. It's a bit like Beckham. He doesn't need to beat you. He can bend the cross around the defender as well. So you can't really underrate Messi's ability of delivering quality balls into the box. And they did it a lot, Argentina. They did. They were always going to score, weren't they? Unfortunately. Okay, yeah. Hopefully we do get some news. And Cody, you're saying we need more outgoings, Cody, but do we need more outgoings? Like, how is it going to help us? Like, we need to get players in. Like, who would you be looking at going out? If you say Rashford hasn't been a Man United player for a long time anyway, so that doesn't make our team better. That I don't believe the nonsense that Man United can only sign players if they sell players. That yeah, come on, Mbappe. Mbappe's got one job, and the job is to get rid of Thomas Tuchel for us, please, please. I know. Do you know what I think though with this one? Spence was like doing it all match, and then you bring on an extra person. Suddenly you got two people there. They leave it to each other. I think England's problem was they had too many defenders on the pitch, so no one knows exactly whose job it is to then step in, whose job it is to then mark the space the other side. And centre back, you got so many centre backs. Who's picking up that? How? If you look at it, England have more centre backs on the pitch towards the end of the match. Free headers to score goals, and free header that hit the post as well. It was just a warning shot, and you could see it happening. It just didn't help. Yeah, we will just actually we could do that. We could look at how old is Spence? No, he's one player that did get a lot of credit from the match last night. Let me just have a look. So let's have a look. Jed Spence, 25 years old. I think he played very well. So currently at Spurs, I mean, I don't know how long is left on his contract. He's played at Spurs for 4 years. So August 2025, Spence signed a new long-term contract with the club. So there's no way Spurs are going to let him go. I think Spurs are building around some of these players, aren't they? So no, I don't think he's going to be gone at all. No, he's been no Spencer's going to go nowhere, is he? So Everton after him, yeah, I don't know how much it would cost, but if he's going to be going, I think he looked good actually. He looked good. I mean, I think Man United need to get a left back. I think he's a decent one. He's a good option, but I don't know. Yeah, no, I'll find some news. Be it to you, Daz. Good to see you in the chat. What will FIFA do about the banner that the Spain B team displayed last night? No idea, but it's against the rules, so no idea. I do quite like Kadioglu. Nikki T says, "Will Man United sell Martinez for waving the flag?" Um, I I don't know. Lots of anger on social media. Is it true that Kone to Chelsea? So apparently they're in talks. According to Graham Bailey, they're in talks with Kone. But again, Andy, I think it's difficult to say. I mean, it's difficult to say whether Man United genuinely want him either. I think at this point in time, if we start seeing more and more talks with like Coney to Chelsea, I'm just going to assume that Man United were not particularly interested, and it's just one of those stories where we weren't going to be significantly interested in him. I think. Yeah, no, a lot of people, a lot of people actually are not happy with that as well. It's going to be interesting. Do you remember the year after David Beckham got sent off? There are lots of boos around around the different grounds in the UK. Obviously not at Old Trafford, but lots of rival fans booing him. I wonder if Argentinian players from the World Cup are going to get the same reception in English grounds. It might be because there's definitely levels of dislike between those. If you're watching the game last night, when they're playing the national anthems, there was massive booing, like loads of people booing throughout the anthem. So I don't think there's. I think we're going to see a backlash next season for sure. Yeah. No, it's definitely going to be a talking point, isn't it? Because it's quite a blatant breaking of FIFA's rules. I'll be interested to see what happens regarding this one. Yeah, we'll have to see, Solly. We'll have to see. I mean, I think it's going to be. Yeah, I think people are going to have a different view in the ground that. But yeah, if the chat's anything to go by, then it might be a rough one for Lissandro Martinez. I mean, I would just say if I'm going to stick to football and talk about ability stuff, I think Martinez needs an upgrade anyway. I think we need to get a better option in centre back because he used to be a bit rash. He's picking up cards too much in the Premier League, and for me, I don't think he's good enough. You can say like Martinez wins a lot of headers, okay, but if you look him on the pitch, he can't compete with some players. And I should be on 8 p.m. tonight, like 8 p.m. tonight. But the stream in the evening, I've got multiple guests on as well. So I might try and get a third person on, but I've got Kieran's coming on for the first time in about a month for me. Actually, he was on Monday with Jules, but he's going to come on tonight. And Wiz Bella's going to come on as well. And I might message someone and see if they want to come on as well. But no, 8 p.m. tonight and hopefully there's going to be some sort of news story to talk about. If you see something you think is good, please share in the channel Discord. And let me just post a link. I think I forgot to post a link to the Discord, so I'll just post that. So please share it on the channel Discord if you see something good you think is worth talking about. Then I'll put the Discord there. Hopefully you can see it. And I'll probably pin that so you can find it. Did I pin the right one? Okay, so Discord's pinned. If you want to like post something in the Discord, please share that as well. And yeah, we'll do something tonight, but it depends on news as well. But it'd be good to get a few different opinions. Hopefully, kind of this is the one stream where we got all our anger about the World Cup match out in kind of like this stream. I thought I was over it, but I'm just still a bit angry as well. Yeah, that was ridiculous, wasn't it? Ridiculous. I did go and watch a few games during that season, but by the time I was watching them, I think yeah, people were fine. Beckham put in one of the best seasons ever a year later, didn't he, as well? Big up to you, Danny. Big up to everyone in the chat. Thanks everyone for watching. A bit of a weird time today because I'm trying to figure out what the best time to stream is after the World Cup stuff finishes. I will be around for another week and then I will be on holiday. So there'll be some guest appearances from different people hosting different streams, more calling shows as well for sure. We're going to be trying to do slightly different stuff as well next season. If you've got any thoughts or suggestions, please get them in the Discord. Things you want to see on YouTube that maybe aren't there, let me know what you want to see. And we'll try and do a mixture of those sort of streams. But it will be heavily focusing on Manchester United as always. And I think we'll start off by looking forward to the Wrexham pre-season friendly, which is going to be kicking off 4 p.m. on Saturday. And that's going to be something that we maybe do. Maybe we'll do a bit of a preview tonight or tomorrow and look into that match as well. It's going to be largely academy players, I guess, with maybe Tillemans, but Santos, I think, will be playing. But enjoy the rest of your day. We'll be live at 8. Big up to Bilal, Super Chat. Thank you for that. And thanks everybody that's a moderator or channel member as well for helping support the channel. And we will catch you guys 8 p.m. tonight. Until then, have a great rest of your day.